Hi, Conrad Zimmerman from FistShark Marketing here. If you like the show, we hope you'll consider supporting it with a small monthly contribution through Patreon. For less than the price of a pair of used panties from a greasy vending machine, you can help us to make jokes that truly stink. Just visit patreon.com/fistshark or click the big Patreon button at fistshark.com. And thanks for listening.
I was looking through our portfolio, and it came to my attention that there is a deficit in some of the areas of entertainment that we've been covering. Now, some people might think that the world of professional wrestling, aka sports entertainment, is a little bit lowbrow, a little bit under the purview of most corporations, but we're not most corporations, and I say if we represent Dean Cain, we can represent professional wrestling. And I've been looking at some of the local talent, keeping an eye on things, and I do believe it's about time we stepped into a managerial role and took some of this young, athletic, potential future WWE talent under our wings.
I think that's a phenomenal idea. I mean, when you look at the numbers in the working class demographic of people who watch and love this content, it's a perfect synergy with all of our other product offerings that we can be having him doing sponsorship deals for our own stuff, save a little bit of money. The opportunities are endless.
I did the market research. A lot of companies think that wrestling fans are poor and stupid and therefore not worth marketing to. I say wrestling fans 100% completely across the board are poor and stupid. Therefore, our quasi-poisonous economy meals are perfect to sell them.
Poor and stupid is basically a target demographic for most of what we sell.
It's kept Hungry Man in business for decades.
Okay, so you think you found somebody that we're ready to jump on then?
I think I found the near-perfect candidate. We've just got to iron out a few crinkles in the spandex, so to speak. But I do believe that the Kicksman is the future Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, thank you very much. He's got the charisma. He's got the skills on the microphone. He's got an awesome entrance theme tune, Reach for the Stars by S Club 7. And the Kicksman knows how to kick.
Okay, all right. So his gimmick is that he is predominantly a kicker.
Yeah, he's a striker. You know, he's not one of these technical wrestlers. You're not going to see a lot of submissions from him. He's not a high flyer. You know, he's not going to jump off the top rope anytime soon. But he's got those stiff kicks. You know, we're talking like a Shinsuke Nakamura. We're talking like a Bryan Daniels. We're talking like someone who has his shins, has his feet, knows damn well what he's doing with them, and we've just got to make up for the fact that he doesn't do anything else.
Wait, that's all he does. It's not just, like the special moves, the signature maneuvers are kicks. He only kicks.
Live the Kicksman lifestyle, be the Kicksman is the philosophy of the Kicksman.
By kicking.
By doing a lot of kicking. More so even than Steven Seagal, who has considered suing since the Kicksman quite literally kicks people for money.
Yes.
I mean, that's all he does. Steven Seagal at least attempts acting sometimes.
I see a way that we can sort of smooth that over. If the Kicksman ever becomes a concern that's large enough, because if we can get him into the WWE, it'd be no issue at all to sort of, get Steven in to do like a tag team match, a celebrity thing. He'd take that. He'd be fine with that.
He'd be fine with that. Plus, if he goes to WWE, they all only ever do 5 moves in there anyway. If we can convince him to do 4 more, we're golden.
So he only has one type of kick.
That also is an issue, yeah. You won't see any Pele kicks from him. You won't see any drop kicks, insecurities, roundhouses. You will see one hell of a realistic, brutal kick to the leg predominantly, and also quite regularly the small of the back. The tailbone, if I'm being quite honest, especially with the way the other wrestler screams.
It seems a little impractical from a wrestling standpoint because, yeah, while you're right, they really only do execute a few moves in a match. You still need to have some of that variety, and you need something for a finisher.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know a great deal about professional wrestling, but I know about some of the things you need. In-ring psychology, make the match convincing, come up with logical moves to bridge from one area to the next. You know, if one wrestler is aiming to work a particular body part of another wrestler, say the arm, to damage them from being able to do a good punch or something. That's all part of the match, whereas the Kicksman sort of walks in and then just starts randomly kicking anywhere. He'll kick your shin, then he'll kick your back, then he'll kick you in the tummy, and there's sort of no rhyme or reason to it, and I don't think the fans respond to that particularly well, especially when the other wrestlers break character and say, fucking stop it, that was legit hard.
Oh, he's actually kicking people. He's not. This is not choreographed.
Well, yeah. Obviously, in professional wrestling, there is some contact there, especially with, a stiff striker type competitor. You want to try and sell it. You want to try and make the moves look powerful. But it's not so much that he's making his kicks look powerful. The Kicksman is just quite literally powerfully kicking people in the small of the back. There was one match I saw where he picked someone up and held their head under his arm, took their arm and put it over the back of his neck, and everyone sort of got on the edge of their seat. They thought he was going to do a suplex, and then from that position, he just sort of kicked the other guy in the ankle a lot, threw him back on the floor, said, "The Kicksman only kicks," and then kicked him in the ribs a few times. At that point, he could have had the match won because the other wrestler was quite legitimately hurt. I think he broke a rib. But the Kicksman only kicks, so he made no attempt to pin the other wrestler and win the match. The Kicksman has won no matches. They either get stopped due to injury, or the other wrestler just gets fed up. Usually they're quite a bit bigger than him, so they will just lay him out with a clothesline and then sit on him.
That doesn't sound great. It doesn't sound like the kind of character that has the potential to, win the championship belt, and have that kind of A-level storyline.
Not in his current incarnation, and certainly not while he insists on wearing soccer boots with the studded grips at the bottom. That's proving very unpopular with the rest of the wrestlers.
Well, it can't be good for the ring either. That's got to be really damaging.
Oh yeah, he's chewed that up. The canvas, such as it is full of divot holes, some of which have really sort of gotten sharp as they've welted up, the sort of craters, the edges. A lot of wrestlers end up with welts, bruises, cuts when they get slammed on this thing because, it resembles a road in Jackson, Mississippi.
So if the gimmick is that he only kicks and he's wearing these soccer cleats, is he then a soccer-themed overall, or is this just...
It's just to make the kicks really, really hurt. As far as the rest of his in-ring attire goes, he wears some Bermuda shorts that I think he picked up on an actual beach, and a t-shirt that has Kicksman written on it in permanent marker.
Okay, well, we can work with that, I guess. That's sort of like raw clay, right? We could really mold that into just about anything.
That's what I'm thinking. There's so little to the Kicksman that we can only build upon it.
Okay, so is he married to the general Kicksman theme, or could we, maybe tie in some sort of kicking association with something else? Like, I don't know, put him in football pads and call him the punter.
I like that. The punter, the punt panther, soccer Joe. It's all great ideas. It's just, I mean, I've seen the way he looks at those Bermuda shorts. I think they have some sentimental value. Maybe he was on a first date at the beach when he bought them or something. They got Garfield on them.
Bermuda shorts with Garfield on them. That might also be a problem. I mean, Jim Davis is notorious for his litigation.
I've considered getting some purple felt tip pens and scribbling on Garfield, just telling people that he's Eek the Cat. I don't think the Eek the Cat people are very litigious.
Okay, so setting aside these issues that, sort of centered around the theme and the kicking.
Yeah.
You said he's at least got the other aspects of professional wrestling in the bag.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when Reach for the Stars by S Club 7 plays, the crowd is in their seats. They haven't got up to go away.
Right.
Which I take as a fantastic sign. And they're respectfully quiet when he comes out because they want to listen to what he's got to say. Because, like I say, he's got that magnetic charisma. When he picks up a microphone, when he's got that stick in his hand, he can make an arena, not an arena. I misspoke. I meant the community hall.
Mm-hmm.
But he can make it. Listen, they're very attentive. They don't really make a noise at all, which in Japan is a sign of respect for wrestlers.
But less so here, right? Here it's generally more spectacle and energy and excitement and pumping that crowd up.
But if you write the word Japan on the ring apron, then we could possibly trick people into thinking it's set in Japan. They have to dim the audience lights so they don't see it's full of Bostonites who are really sleepy.
Okay, so but they're at least engaged enough to want to listen to his patter is what I'm getting from this.
They're not leaving, is the thing. They're not leaving. They're sort of patiently waiting for the Kicksman to stop telling them all that he's the Kicksman. He only does kicking. He's here to kick some ass and other body parts because he loves to kick. He'll talk for about 30 to 35 minutes about why kicking is good for you, why it's good for cardio, why he would have been a kickboxer, except he hates the boxing part, why you've got to choose the right footwear. He'll talk about the particular soccer boots he's wearing. He says he goes to England and buys his from Clark's specifically. He says he doesn't like the American branch of Clark's. He says they're racist.
All right. Well, no, there's something there. There's something there. You're onto something. Between, the soccer cleats and only buying his shoes from the UK. I mean, we have the makings of a really good heel here.
Oh, no, I mean, his heel is fantastic. When he hits you with that part of the shoe, that's when you leave some real deep digging marks. Oh, you meant wrestling heel as in a villain, didn't you?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
When the audience isn't quiet, they are booing him, so he's halfway there.
Did you see the new Dusty Laughs video that he put up last week?
The new Dusty Laughs? Not caught up with it yet. I mean, I'll admit, I'm not quite clued in on what the kids like to watch on the YouTubes these days. Obviously, as a representative of Dusty Laughs, I do check in now and then. But I haven't seen the latest. I normally end up checking them about a week or two late, just because, I'm not all that, as I say, clued in on what the youths are listening to. But what kind of madcap prankery has he pulled off this time?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm a little concerned that he may have possibly gone too far with his pranks.
May have gone. Okay. I mean, bear in mind before you go any further with this. I mean, you have considered the fact that he runs a prankster channel on YouTube, right?
Right.
And therefore, everything he does is just pranks.
Yeah, no, I totally, and
Okay.
I'm with you 100% on that. It is just pranks.
I know that one video he does where he punches that old woman in the back of the head. That one upset a few people. Most of that sort of fury calmed down once he explained. You know, we put out an official statement on his behalf that said, you know, we're very sorry to those who are offended. It was just pranks, brah. Bye.
And I think that's still going to be the line we're going to have to take after this particular incident.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anything really changes there.
Is it as bad as the time he set fire to the hospital?
I'm really not sure about that. Personally speaking, from a personal perspective, right? I think setting fire to the children's wing of a hospital maybe be viewed in a slightly more negative light than this, just because of the people involved.
You're right.
You know, and I mean, I can't help it that some people have no sense of humor, right?
Here's the thing about when Dusty Laugh set fire to the children's hospital. It seemed a bit of a dark move until he started throwing medical waste from a dumpster at the firefighters and the people fleeing the burning wreckage. That's when I was like, okay, I thought this was a little bit morbid, but now he's flinging shitty diapers and dirty bandages. I get it now. It is just pranks, brah.
Yeah, setting fire to the wing, that was just the means to the end, right? That's the setup.
That was setting him up, and then the medical waste being thrown was, in some cases, with the smaller and more frail children, literally knocking them down.
I think sometimes it takes a little bit, because he's kind of deep, right, with the humor.
I think there's social commentary there. I think when he goes out onto the streets in the middle of a very busy high street and just starts yelling as many racial slurs as loudly as he can at as many different races as he can, he's really saying something about society. And when they chase him off with sticks and bits of tire or whatever they can get hold of because they really, really, really want to cave his fucking head in, I think when he's running away from them, yelling, terrified, I was just pranking, bro. I think that says a lot about us as people.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, it speaks directly to the human condition, as all great comedy really does, right?
Yes, all comedy that is offensive isn't really offensive because it's social commentary. If you're angry at Dusty Laughs because he pushed a horse off a bridge, ultimately, you're angry at yourself because you're not watching Dusty Laughs push a horse off a bridge, throwing stones and bricks at it while it's braying madly in the river. You're angry because you're looking into a mirror and you're seeing yourself.
Right.
And you're saying, ultimately, I know we've all, in some way or another, pushed an unsuspecting horse off a bridge into a river and then dumped stones and bricks onto it. Maybe not literally,
but figuratively. We've all been there, right? We've all had that time in our lives when we're sort of, metaphorically speaking, standing over a bridge looking down at a madly flailing horse in a river and throwing stones at it.
We've all had a pushed a horse off a bridge and laughed while we threw stones and rocks at it as it slowly and terrifyingly drowns moment. We've all had that moment in our lives.
And we don't want to think of ourselves in that circumstance as being, the bad guy, right? But when you look back on it and you think about the things that you've done in your life and you're like, thank you, Dusty Laughs. Thank you for putting all of it into perspective.
Into some perspective, yes.
It's all part of the human condition and the human experience, and we're all sort of together. And that's the beauty of Dusty Laughs comedy.
The ultimate takeaway, as I've always espoused, is, well, I mean, just to quote Dusty Laughs himself, look at the terror and confusion in that fucker's equestrian eyes. Isn't that funny? Prank style.
Mm-hmm. It's like the time that he decided to pour burning tar all over a sidewalk. and wait for people to try to walk across it and get their feet stuck as their shoes melt to the pavement.
That was a classic. That got 3 mil views, I think. 3 mils on that sucker.
And just the what it says about us and how, we get stuck in our own mindsets, unable to move forward because of the tar in our lives.
And because we don't take notice of that tar, that's why we get hit with a big stick and our wallet's stolen.
Right.
We call Dusty Laughs a YouTube prankster, but really all he's pointing out is that life is the ultimate practical joke.
As I say, I don't know. I'm a little concerned that maybe in this particular instance, there's going to be just a little greater blowback than usual, I suppose.
Well, I'll listen to it, but I'm already sort of chuckling a little under my breath because I just sort of can't wait to see what his latest goof is. So do tell me what it is that Dusty Laughs has done this time, because I'm sure it's, as worried as you might be, I'm sure it's pretty funny.
He took a trip to Arlington National Cemetery.
Oh, plenty of prank potential there.
Oh, yeah, lots of opportunity.
I remember that time it was one of his earlier videos when he went to the local cemetery here in Boston and just defaced gravestones. Recent ones.
Yeah.
That was fucking funny. That was a gut buster. I was worried at first. I thought it was tasteless, but then he said it was a prank at the end and I laughed until I pissed myself.
Exactly. Yeah, like once you know it's a prank, you can see it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Him saying it's a prank is basically the magic eye chart showing you the dolphin.
Yes, yeah, it just brings it all together, brings it all into focus for you. And so in this particular instance, he went down to Arlington, and he performed a blood ritual with a virgin sacrifice to Ostleth, as you would. And of course, this resulted in the raising of the dead from Arlington.
Typically, a successful sacrifice to Ostleth will raise some dead, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what happened. And so he raised, like a good dozen dead veterans, all still in their uniforms.
Nice. So what did he do? Like, pants them, insult their service records? Like what kind of wacky prank did he do to these undead vets?
Well, he actually just sort of released them into the city.
Oh.
Followed them around and just sort of watched as they mindlessly attacked any passerby that came into their field of vision.
Oh, so for a prank, he unleashed the living dead on a city.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, you could see the humor in it.
I'm imagining it now, and I'm obviously, but as soon as we're done talking, I'm going to go watch that shit. But I can see that one being a little bit, crossing the line a little bit, certainly pushing the envelope.
Right. I think it would be one thing if he'd just gone to, like a normal graveyard filled with people nobody care about. But then, it doesn't really have the punch of a Dusty Laughs gag unless it takes it to that extreme and goes to Arlington.
I can only imagine the conflict of the people trying to fight the zombies. Like, you don't want to shoot a decorated veteran.
No.
Even if he is trying to eat your face.
Exactly, yeah. We love our troops. I have tremendous respect for our troops.
Oh, God. I can't stop thinking about the troops.
It does put people into an interesting conundrum, I think. And it makes you question, like...
Well, there's that social commentary again. It's like... You say you love the troops. You say you love America. Do you love the troops enough to let them eat your head?
And people don't, it seems.
I can imagine. If I had to choose between, keeping my flesh and kicking the reanimated corpse of a soldier, I'd probably kick it.
Right?
I wouldn't feel great about it. I wouldn't feel great about it at all.
And I think that's a thing that we need to sort of acknowledge about us and our society is that, we say that we love the troops, right? We say that that their sacrifices are the bedrock of our society and they keep us safe and strong and that we do anything for them. But then when it comes right down to it, when faced with a soldier one-on-one, who happens to be wanting to eat the flesh from your bones, all of a sudden, it's your personal interests are in the way, and you no longer have that feeling towards the troops. And that's just wrong. It's just wrong.
Yeah. Sorry, I am listening to you. It's just I had to look it up on my phone. And don't get me wrong, it is funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I'm a little bit worried about the amount of American flags that Dusty Laugh seems to have, and the amount of American flags that he is taking a massive dump on. Is that the bit that people are offended by?
That might be it.
I think that's it. I think if anything, certainly in our line of work, we've learned that you can do a lot of things. You can punch an old woman in the back of the head. You can push a horse off a bridge. You can set fire to a children's hospital. You can mug people who have been stuck to the streets with tar. You can unleash a zombie apocalypse, but don't disrespect the flag, dude. Don't disrespect the flag.
FistShark Marketing is Jim Sterling and Conrad Zimmerman. Theme music by Ben Rama. Additional music by Alazar Chan. Our editor is Austin Yorsky. Get more episodes and learn how to support the show at FistShark.com. Follow us on Twitter at FistShark for more of our exploits. Complaints can be forwarded via email to fistsharkmarketing@aol.com. And remember, you're complicit. Goodbye.